So the NBA trade deadline is just 2 days away. It's literally on Thursday at 3 p.m. I'm going to be giving out suggestions for all 30 NBA teams on what I believe they should be doing at the 2022 trade deadline. Now, a lot of this probably won't happen because I'm not the GM of all 30 teams. I'm just going to be giving out suggestions. Do I think they should trade this player? Should they not trade this? Should they go out and get this player? So let me know what you think of my suggestion for your favorite team down below. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Drop a like if you do enjoy these videos, and let's get into it. So starting off with the Miami Heat, I think it's just don't do anything too drastic. Get fully healthy for the 2022 playoffs. They're currently the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference as I'm recording this. So I think it's more play towards the buyout market. See if there's a chance John Wall gets there. Maybe you bring back Goran Dragic. Like, I guess their main trade asset would be like KZ Okpala. You're not going to get a lot for him. Maybe look and see what the price is for like Alex Len, Ben McLemore, Terrence Davis, Garrett Temple, one of those veterans that could slide into that rotation for the playoffs. The Chicago Bulls, still at the top of the Eastern Conference with just being injury plagued this whole year with Lonzo, Caruso, Levine, all suffering pretty major injuries at one point. Now, there has been some Patrick Williams discussions. I don't think that they should trade him. I prefer the upside of Patrick Williams over a Jeremy Grant, for example. So I think you really try to package maybe Kobe White in a trade, maybe that Blazers first round pick that you got in the 3-team trade for Lauri Markkanen in the offseason, and you look at like a Jakob Poeltl from the Spurs. Now, I know that apparently they offered the Spurs a first for Poeltl. They said no. I don't know why that was so tough to say. So maybe you counter with Kobe White. I think you can leverage Kobe White to get a different player out there, and then also use Derrick Jones Jr.'s salary as well to match some other deals. Maybe the Blazers would be willing to trade away Larry Nance. You can call the Thunder on Derek Favors. I just think they need big man depth for playoff time. Man, Milwaukee is weird because they don't really have draft picks. They don't have cap space. I don't think they're going to be extending DiVincenzo, so I would try to use him in trade offerings as well. I don't know if you would have to give up DiVincenzo, but maybe look at the price of Dennis Schroeder if the Celtics want to trade him in conference. I don't know if you can get there salary-wise, but maybe the Knicks would take a flyer on Dante DiVincenzo, or the OKC Thunder try to steal a veteran or take a veteran from one of those teams. Maybe it's like a Kenrich Williams. Maybe it's like a Alec Burks. It would just be tough to make the money work. And then I think like the Heat, go into the buyout market, see if Robin Lopez gets bought out by the Orlando Magic, because Brook Lopez being out, you need some big man depth as well there. All right, so next up we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They already made their trade for Caris LeVert. I think you stand put. I think that was like the move you should make, especially if you don't want to move on from Sexton and you want to try to extending him in the offseason. Use him in a sign and trade. I like the LeVert deal. Predicted that last week. I'm okay with that. Philadelphia. Yeah, I think you do 3 things. If they can't happen, you wait till the offseason. You try to move Ben Simmons for either Bradley Beal, James Harden, or Damian Lillard. It looks like Damian Lillard is probably off the table, so it's more Beal or Harden. It looks like Beal's not going to get moved at the deadline either, so it looks like it's a James Harden deal. If you have that and you don't have to give up Tyrese Maxey and it's Simmons and Curry, I would do that. You might have to throw in some picks as well. If not, just wait till the offseason. See if you can trade Simmons for one of those guys then. Even though it kind of sucks you're wasting one of Joel Embiid's prime years. For the Toronto Raptors, I think you call Indiana, see the price on Miles Turner, get that center for the next couple of years. See if you could do Boucher and maybe Malachi Flynn, Delano Banton, first round pick protected this year. See if the Pacers are just willing to just get off of Miles Turner and they like a Flynn return. Maybe Precious Achiuwa could be in that trade as well. And then try to see if you can get a Goran Dragic shooter so you don't have to buy him out and get something for him. Man, Brooklyn, I don't really know. I honestly think you should trade Harden for Ben Simmons. I know it's crazy. I mean, in a perfect world, you do Kyrie for Ben Simmons, but I don't think Kyrie's going to get moved. I don't even think Harden's going to end up getting moved, but I think just Simmons' defensive ability would fit that Nets team a little bit better. I mean, Kyrie wouldn't even be playing home playoff games at this rate. It's just so tough what the Nets should do. So I think if you can get Curry, maybe a first or two firsts and Simmons for Harden, you do that. If not, I think you try to package Paul Millsap and like Cam Thomas for somebody as well to upgrade your roster or your bench at least. I don't know if that's like Thad Young, Marvin Bagley, Mo Bamba, just one of those players. The Celtics, I don't know like what they are. Are they buyers? Are they sellers? They struggled to start the year. They've been playing a lot better as of late. So I think the one thing they need to do is move on from Dennis Schroeder. Just try to get something for him, and then just roll with Peyton Pritchard as kind of the backup point guard. I think that's better if you can get like 2 seconds for Schroeder, maybe a second. Let Smart be the starting point guard for the rest of the year. And I know that he's been in some reports, but don't trade Grant Williams. He's been a very good 3-point shooter for you this year. He's finally coming into that role. For the Hornets, go after a center. Go after Jakob Poeltl, Christian Wood, Mo Bamba, Miles Turner. One of those centers you need to make a playoff push. The Atlanta Hawks have been very disappointing. A lot of them put them in like that second tier of Eastern Conference teams, probably getting a 4, 5, or 6 seed. They're in the play-in tournament right now. I think they really need to go after a defensive-minded guard. I don't know if Marcus Smart is fully available, but he's somebody that I think would fit very well with this Hawks offense. And I think don't trade John Collins, unless it's for Ben Simmons. I wouldn't move Collins for Jeremy Grant. I think that'd be very silly. So it's don't move Collins and try to get a defensive-minded guard. If you can't get Marcus Smart, see what the price is for like Kenrich Williams. I know he's more of like a forward, not a guard. Or like Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart would be a great addition to the Hawks. Man, I think the Wizards should really trade Bradley Beal. I really do, but it seems like they're trying to win around him, and I don't think they have the ammo to get Domantas Sabonis. I think a lot of other teams that we'll get to in a little bit have way better packages to offer and way better assets to offer the Pacers than the Wizards do. I wouldn't really be too intrigued in like Advia, Hashimura, Kispert. But if that's the case, yeah, go after Domantas Sabonis. But I think a more realistic option could be Jeremy Grant. Offer your first round pick this year. Offer one of your young players. I think that could help Bradley Beal to stay. And see if a team would take on Spencer Dinwiddie, because it doesn't seem like Beal and Dinwiddie are working out together. My New York Knicks. 24-29 before the Utah Jazz game tonight. Just such a disappointing year. They go out. They trade a first round pick in Kevin Knox for Cam Reddish. And Cam Reddish has played like less than 20 minutes total so far. Tibbs does not play Reddish, so I think what they need to do is just get players off this team so they can give quickly Grimes, Reddish, Toppin more minutes. I think you gotta move Alec Burks. You have to move Kemba Walker. They cannot be in the rotation after the deadline. I mean, I would love Fournier off this team. I would love Julius Randle off this team. That's not going to happen. Derrick Rose is coming back. That's just even more minutes into this rotation. So yeah, move Burks, move Kemba. I don't care for what. Just try to get at least as many seconds as possible. If you can get off Fournier and some of those guys for McCollum, yeah, do that. I wouldn't mind giving up like the Dallas 2023 first. If you can give up Randall, I don't know, Randall, maybe a young player if it's like Reddish and a first for Fox, I would maybe do that. If you can get Jalen Brunson, I would probably do that too, but just don't do anything stupid, please. Indiana, this is pretty self-explanatory. Blow it up. I mean, me personally, I don't really see that they have to trade Sabonis. He's under contract for 2 more years. They can maybe get a better deal in the offseason when they know where some teams are picking at. I guess the only downside of keeping Sabonis now instead of trading him in the offseason is he's going to help them win games, which is going to hurt their draft stock. But move TJ Warren if you can get maybe a late protected first or some seconds for him. Move Miles Turner if you can get a first and a young player. And then wait, I think, to trade Sabonis till the offseason and get a better deal then. For Detroit, it's trade Jeremy Grant. If you can get a first pick and a semi-good young player like the Aaron Gordon package of last year, you definitely do that. I would not extend Jeremy Grant. I don't think he fits the timeline as well for these young guys as maybe some people think. I wouldn't really give him $100 million either. I would just continue to build around Stewart and Bay and obviously Cade Cunningham. Get that top pick in this draft, move on from Grant, and then if you can, also move on from Olynyk. And then lastly, in the Eastern Conference is the Orlando Magic. I would see if you can just get anything for Terrence Ross, Mo Bamba, or Gary Harris. Honestly, it's more the wings in Ross and Harris. If you can get as many second-round picks as possible for those guys, I would do it. And honestly, Bamba's been playing well enough this year. I would just take his bird rights into the offseason, extend him the qualifying offer. He's a restricted free agent. You could use him in a sign and trade, or you can just keep him around. All right, so now on to the Western Conference. The number 1 seed there is the Phoenix Suns. I would really try my hardest giving up a future first-round pick and Dario Saric for Thaddeus Young. He could be great big man depth, a nice veteran piece for the playoffs. I still don't know why they didn't extend DeAndre Ayton, but hopefully that gets sorted out in the offseason and you pay him because he deserves it. Golden State is weird. They have so many assets, right? I don't think they should trade Kuminga. Wiseman, I guess not. Clay's coming back, like Draymond eventually will, and Wiseman, I honestly don't think they should make any moves. I think wait until there's anything in the buyout market and go from there, because there's going to be some good veterans there. Man, for the Memphis Grizzlies, I would really like to see them go after Domantas Sabonis. I know I said the Pacers shouldn't trade him, but if they do, yes, I would offer them probably Steven Adams to make the money work. You throw in Zaire Williams. You throw in the Lakers pick this year, the Jazz pick this year, and if they can get Zaire Williams in 2 firsts for Sabonis, I think they would accept that. And if you have a closing 5 in the playoffs of Ja, Desmond Bane, Dillon Brooks, Triple J, and Domantas Sabonis this year, that could win the Western Conference. Pull the trigger. Do it. I'll compare them to the Celtics from a couple years ago when they had all those assets and they couldn't get a Paul George or Kawhi Leonard or Jimmy Butler trade done because they didn't want to give up the future assets. But now look at them. They just didn't capitalize on that. I really think Memphis should go out, get Sabonis. He's under contract for 2 years. I think he'd be a great front court partner to Triple J, and he seems like a guy that would probably stay in Memphis. Man, I don't know what Utah should do. I guess since he's hurt, you trade Joe Ingles, try to match his salary with something else. I wouldn't give up future draft picks. I just wouldn't. I don't really know who they could move Ingles for if it's Thaddeus Young, but then you probably have to give up like maybe Jared Butler as a bouquet. I don't know what they should do. Maybe the Spurs are interested in some of their other young guys like Eric Pascal, Elijah Hughes. I don't know, but I think they should just definitely trade Joe Ingles. They kind of have to if they want any shot at going to the finals this year. For Dallas, it's make a play for CJ McCollum. I don't think you could trot this team into the Western Conference playoffs. Maybe they get their first playoff series win with Luka, but we've seen Porzingis have injury problems. THJ is out for a while, so maybe you try to use his salary to get something. But I think if you can move Brunson and some salary, like maybe Powell or Hardaway to get McCollum, I think you do that. Give Luka that secondary shot creator. Still a good 3-point shooter. Could be a nice spot up piece for Luka. For the Denver Nuggets, this isn't going to be your final team. You're hopefully going to get Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray back for the playoffs. I don't know if that's fully happening. We don't know how they're going to recover from those injuries and how they're going to play. But I don't think they should give up more draft capital for this season. I think you play the buyout market, see if you can get somebody like Austin Rivers, that caliber player like you did in years past. Minnesota should really make a play for Jeremy Grant. I don't know what it would cost them. Probably if they threw in their lottery protected first this year, I would do it. You throw in Taurean Prince and maybe Josh Uji is the young guy, or Leandro Bolmaro that Detroit could be interested. I think Grant could be a nice power forward piece next to Karl Anthony Towns. Now, I would love Sabonis on this team. They'd probably have to give up like Jared Vanderbilt and multiple firsts, and I don't know if they'd want to do that. And then also see if you can move on from the Malik Beasley contract, get off that. Maybe Toronto would want Beasley for Dragic. Not really sure if they want to pay Beasley for the next couple of seasons, but it's really just add to this team, make a playoff push, try to get the Timberwolves back in the playoffs. The Clippers already made their move. I love the Norman Powell trade. I didn't really think of that at all, so that's an A+ for me. Just play the buyout market, especially if John Wall's there. Man, the Lakers. Oh boy, what do they do? Is everybody on the block besides LeBron, AD, Melo, and Monk? Probably. I would say trade Westbrook, but they're going to find no suitors for Russ. Try to move THT. See if the Rockets are just like at the point where we'll move Eric Gordon for THT straight up. I would definitely not want to give up my 2027 first because you don't really have a lot of firsts for the next couple of years. So I wouldn't move that pick. So see if you can do THT and none for Gordon, THT and none for Grant. If that doesn't happen, I would do THT for anybody at this rate. Maybe that's like Terrence Ross or a player like that. The Pelicans are another team that I think should really go after CJ McCollum. Give Brandon Ingram that second score right now. And with Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, and McCollum, they could definitely make the playoffs this year. The Blazers are probably going to fall out of the play-in tournament. And I think they could slide right in. I don't know if Zion's coming back this year, but you're just adding more talent around Zion Williamson, which is always a plus to try to get him re-signed and stay here long term. And you could definitely get it done with like Devontae Graham, Josh Hart. You have a ton of first-round picks from the Bucks and the Lakers that you could include in this trade as well. Some other young players the Blazers could be interested in: Kyra Lewis, Jackson Hayes, Trey Murphy. And the Pelicans definitely could offer the best package for McCollum over the Knicks and the Mavs, who I've mentioned about McCollum before. Portland, I think, should really trade CJ McCollum or Yusuf Nurkic. If you can get a first for Nurkic, you definitely do that. Call up Charlotte. I didn't mention him before, but see if they would give up maybe a future first for Nurkic or take PJ Washington from them. I would love for them just to go into full rebuild mode. Call up New Orleans. See if you can get a lot for CJ McCollum. Do that. For the San Antonio Spurs, I think I would try to move Derek White or Doug McDermott to a contending team. See if they would give up a first. I mentioned before that the Suns would maybe have to give up a first for Thad Young. I don't even know if they would. Thad Young's not been playing a whole lot this year. Probably not deserving of a first round pick, which we all thought last offseason he would have been. So maybe like Jalen Smith gets it done. But if I'm the Spurs, try to get anything for Thad Young. See if a first round team would overpay for Derek White or Doug McDermott. Keep playing Keldon Johnson, DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, Devin Vassell. See some more Joshua Primo minutes, please. Man, Sacramento. It sucks. It really does suck for the Kings because I want to see them in the playoffs. I mean, they could definitely make the play in tournament, but they would need to pick it up like right away. I mean, they're only a game out of it, so not really. But if you could trade Fox for Simmons, I would do that. I don't think that's going to be on the table. See if Indiana would do Fox for Sabonis, I would do that. And if you're not going to move Fox, and if you can get a really good offer for Harrison Barnes, I'd probably do that, or Buddy Hield as well, or even Rashawn Holmes. But I guess the main thing you need to do is just get something for Marvin Bagley. The OKC Thunder, them and the Memphis Grizzlies are the two teams I would really love to see Domantas Sabonis get traded to. Now, you could say, why would they trade back for Sabonis? They drafted him and traded him for Paul George. That was like 5 years ago. Sabonis was a rookie. Like, I tweeted this out, and some people were saying on Twitter he would never go back to OKC. It's not like it ended poorly. They traded him for a superstar. How could Sabonis not get excited about playing with Dort, Giddey, Shea, all those draft picks, all those cap space? The Thunder would pay him a lot of money. As for the Thunder side of things, go out, give up any of those Thunder players I just mentioned. Like, don't give up Dort, Giddey, or Shea, obviously. See if they really like Trey Mann. See if they really like Aaron Wiggins or Bukajevsky or Darius Baisley. Offer your draft capital. Somebody on Twitter was saying, at a good point, that it hurts the Thunder's draft stock this year. But, like, you're giving up the chance of getting a two-time All-Star. You need big man help. And, like, when is enough enough? Like, you're acquiring all these draft picks. Eventually, there's going to be too many draft picks for roster spots. And you're not even going to be able to keep all these rookies and play all these rookies. So give up all that draft capital you've been acquiring for the last couple of years and go out and get Domantas Sabonis. He's 25 years old. Shea would have loved this, and it might hurt your draft stock a little bit. But what if another team trades for Sabonis? And then you can kick rocks on that idea. And then besides that, see if you can take on any other salary that teams would be willing to give up, and then maybe try to get a pick or two. And then if you can get a first for Kenrich Williams, I'd probably do that. And finally, we have the Houston Rockets. I think it's just really stay the course here, get a really good draft pick in this upcoming draft, and then see if a contending team would give up a couple nice assets for Eric Gordon or Christian Wood. Or even if you can get a nice asset for Jayshawn Tate too, I'd entertain that idea. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know what you agree with or disagree with down below. Anything that I mentioned that you think teams should do, please let me know. Here's to a very exciting trade deadline. Any trades that happen, you'll probably see a rebuild off of them. I will be live streaming probably around 1 o'clock Eastern time on the day of the trade deadline. So it'll be like a 2-hour live stream, and you can get my live reactions to these trades going down. So I hope you guys did enjoy. I love you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.